So guys who go on gear basically always get one of the following side effects. So you're either going to get acne, you're going to get balding, you're going to get gyno. And most people will have their blood pressure go up a ton. So I'm going to forewarn you, for anybody who's thinking about using anything, it's highly likely, unless you're one of the few genetically lucky people, that you will end up with either gyno, acne, or you'll go bald. So, like, I had a 16-year-old who asked me if he should go on gear. Absolutely not. Not only are you still growing, not only are you still going through puberty, but you're also likely to encounter one of those three side effects. So if you really want, to have gyno surgery when you're like 16 years old and pay thousands of dollars for that insurance isn't going to cover, then go ahead. If you want to have acne all over your shoulders and back, go ahead. Or if you want to go bald, go ahead. But I'm definitely not going to recommend anyone under the age of 20 ever touch anything, not even pro hormones. At least wait a few years till you can really think it through and know what you're doing. And even 20 is a little early, but at that point you can at least make a reasonable decision. But for the most part, nearly every single person who takes anything will get one of those symptoms. I never get gyno. I never used an anti-estrogen, and I still didn't get gyno. I had no problems with it. The thing too, anytime I try an anti-estrogen, basically my estrogen will get too low, and when your estrogen gets too low, your dick doesn't work. So that's not too fun. But I never had any problems with gyno. Obviously I have no problem with balding, but I do get the acne. I get acne all over my shoulders and upper back, and it's like I'm honestly gonna have to do some Accutane. I'm gonna have to run some Accutane to get rid of it eventually. And then you got the scars that you're left with and everything, so it sucks, man. I was one of the unfortunate ones who had that, and if you have oily skin growing up, going through puberty, you're probably going to be pretty fucked if you start taking anything. So be forewarned about that. But basically everybody gets one of those things. And the funny thing too with the acne, if you go off everything, it gets worse, because your hormones are trying to get back to normal, and your natural hormones are trying to stabilize themselves, and you just went off a bunch of shit. So that's when it's honestly the worst, which is kind of what I'm going through right now. And it's a pain in the ass. So these are kind of the negative things, negative consequences that you have to think about before you make this decision. And that's just the surface level stuff. This is the stuff that's pretty much guaranteed to happen, one of those three. There will be a lot more than that. I'm not even getting into the psychological side effects. And when I make my Truth About Trend video, you're going to see a lot more. You're going to hear a lot more about how bad they can fuck you up in the head, especially the androgens. Not really so much, test or anything, but that's why I swore off all that crap. People ask me, well, will this come back for your next meet at 220 or whatever in July? Will you be natty? And I'm still going to be doing probably just like HRT stuff, but that's it. I swore off everything else. I'm trying to clean it up. It's going to be a lot tougher being on like nothing and being dieted down a little bit, but I'm up for the challenge. I feel so much better with where my life is headed. I feel like I can think clearly again, and everything's going well. I really like kind of being away from all the drugs and feel a lot better about everything. My health feels so much better, just never getting out of breath anymore when I'm lifting, and my blood pressure is way down, which I should talk about. Blood pressure will nearly always go up when you take anything, any form of AAS, and I think mine, on stuff like Tren and everything. It's like 140 over 95, man. It wasn't good. I mean, that's the start of hypertension, and guys get way worse than that. Guys get so high that they have strokes at 30. And that's it, you know. So that's something to consider. High blood pressure is no joke. You want to get that down. And when you run a bunch of crap, it's going to go way up. There's nothing you can do about it. You can take, meds and everything. It's still going to be high. You can clean up your diet. It's still probably going to be high. Orals. Orals are notorious for that. For getting it very elevated. Not to mention your liver enzymes. So there's just so many damn side effects. It seems like you got to take something to counter this. And you got to take something to counter that. So you start taking something, then you have to take something else, because that first substance is going to have sides, and you got to fix those sides. And then whatever you just took, you got to counter those sides, and it just keeps compounding. And a lot of guys, who are natural, they'll say, well, I'll just try Clen maybe. And so they try Clen, but it's a slippery slope. You try Clen, you're going to want to do more. You try Clen, you're going to be like, well, shit, now I want to do, maybe some test, or a pro hormone even. And you do a pro hormone, you're like, well, time to take it to the next level, do the real thing. So even if you think you can kind of hold yourself back and not take all the other stuff, it's 99% likely you eventually will, because it's just a slippery slope. It just compounds on itself. You take one thing, it leads to the next. You say, I want to take this. And that's why people keep taking more extreme and more extreme dosages. It's just, you think a gram a test, well, what would 2 grams do? 350 milligrams Tren, what would 700 do? And this is what happens, and then pretty soon your health has gone to shit and you feel terrible, and you're not healthy at all. Your life is in disarray. You have all these sides to deal with. So just really think this stuff through. It's no joke. It needs to be freaking respected, because you don't want to fuck yourself up too bad. I'm still fighting the acne or whatever on my shoulders and upper back right here, so I'm gonna have to run Accutane to I'm gonna have to go in and get that from the dermatologist or whatever and fight it off. But there's nothing I can really do about it. It's from the 2 years or whatever when I took a bunch of shit, and then now kind of going cleaner, it just gets way worse. So still dealing with all that, and that's a warning to all you guys. Think it through. I'm out.